Today we are going to be playing the Old Heads deck, comprised of all the cards you would probably find playing bingo on a Sunday afternoon. I have Rage in there because it looks like a bottle of medicine, which is something that you're probably going to need more of as you get older. So we're going to see how this goes. One of the things I was thinking about today as I was on the phone with my brother, he's out of the country, and he has these weekly calls, and I was speaking with him, and one of the things that kind of came to my mind is the fact that life in general is comprised on more of a process-based thing than a do this and get that result kind of thing. And what I mean by that is a lot of times we think that if we do this certain thing, we're just going to get a certain result and that's going to be it, when in reality what it is you do something consistently and you take steps and then you end up getting the result over time. And the reason why I kind of thought of that is because a few years ago I kind of had not a falling out, but I had a difficult experience with, I just had a difficult experience, and it kind of involved the church that I go to, not entirely, but essentially what happened was I had been praying for a certain thing to happen, and we're told in the scriptures and in what we believe that if you pray with faith, believing that you're going to receive this certain thing, and if it's good and uplifting, then you're going to receive that thing. And so I did, and I ended up, I'm not going to go into too much detail, but I ended up not getting that thing. And so it was a little bit of I was kind of mad at God for a while. I had a little bit of a falling out with him, you could say, but I haven't really been happy since. And I don't know what I'm trying to say, but I guess what I mean is every time I kind of went to church and every time I did something that's supposed to make you feel good and uplifted and warm and happy, it didn't make me feel like that. It actually made me feel like the opposite. Like, it made me feel like kind of crummy and uneasy and a little bit sick to my stomach after this whole experience. And so for the past few years, I haven't really been super active in church and in the activities that I probably should be. And I think at some point I want to get back into it. I think that's a goal that I want to get back into, but I just haven't, because I still, I'm, I guess, still not on the best terms with God. And so I guess tying this all back, when I was on the phone with my brother, he kind of said that I should just taking a little step in the process instead of expecting to go from 0 to 100, and instead of expecting to go back to church and feel totally fine and totally get back into the habit of where I was, just to do something really small, which I made a goal to, or he invited me to essentially read the scriptures, read some of the scriptures every day, and that can be kind of a little step in the right direction. And he's actually serving a mission right now for our church, so he's been gone for a little while, and he only has a few months left of that, but that's why we were calling virtually, because he's in Bolivia. But he essentially invited me to just read the scriptures and take a really small step in the right direction. And that's something that I kind of realized is not just applicable to, it's not just applicable to my situation in specific. It's for any goal, really. If you have a goal to do anything, it's always important to start smaller and work your way up instead of kind of putting a big hurdle for yourself. And what I mean is, if you have a goal to start going to the gym, if you kind of put it in your mind that the first time you go, you have to set 45 minutes apart and have your whole workout and routine planned out in advance, it's a pretty big hurdle to get over. And so a lot of times people just don't do it because it seems like a big obstacle. And instead, what you should do, and what I've kind of realized is ideal, is just set a really small goal for yourself, even if it seems kind of pathetic at first. Like, you know, if you plan on going to the gym, just set aside 5 minutes every morning to 5 minutes every morning to do push-ups for 5 minutes for the first week, and then after that, you know, move it up to 10 minutes, and then kind of, you know, take baby steps essentially. And that's how you're going to make change, because change is very, very rarely instant like that. It's usually a process. And so, you know, that's something that I'm going to start to do. I'm going to start to kind of take a step in the right direction, even though it's something I haven't done in a little while. It's something that I'm going to try. And so if you're trying anything, or if you have a goal to do anything, then just start little, because it's going to be much easier to accomplish if you set a really little task to essentially get started, instead of expecting yourself to be perfect right away. And this is something that I don't want this to be taken out of context, but like, it can be done not only if there is a habit that you're trying to do, but also if there's a habit that you're trying to reduce. For example, if you are addicted to drugs and you do them every single day, you know, instead of doing drugs 7 days a week, just do drugs 5 days a week, and reduce it a little bit and make a little bit of a step in the right direction. And that'll, you know, that's the ideal way to, I guess, create change, instead of just expecting to stop completely and say, I'm going to completely stop doing drugs. And, you know, so I guess that's the point I'm trying to make, is just make sure to take little steps. It'll make it easier to get where you want to go. And, yeah, that's about it. So, you know, as you go about your day-to-day, just think about where you want to be, and then set a really, really small task that's going to get you closer there. And you know, it reminds me of that famous quote that says, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. So just take a single step, even if it seems small and insignificant. It'll get you going in the right direction.